All right, guys. Well, for me, it's the same day as the last video. I still have 24 items to ship, and it is 7:30, so kids are kind of winding up homework and getting ready to take a bath and go to bed and whatnot. So I am going to try to get all of that stuff shipped so I don't have to do it while I'm wearing a baby tomorrow. So we're going to go in reverse chronological order. So this just sold in the last couple minutes. I did this. I took these what you'd put like tabs in a book and wrote A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, I think. I don't know. I think that's all the farther I got. Anyway, for all these Wrangler and all these chambray shirts that look just alike. So this one was J, and it sold for $15 free shipping, which I only paid 75 cents a piece. I only paid like $11 or $12 for all of the shirts. So this one won't quite get me in the profit because it was free shipping, but it'll get me pretty close. All right, the next thing up was Pantera and Ozfest. We picked these up for 50 cents a piece, and then in there was the extra vulgar display of power, which is not part of this. It's just sitting in there. So this sold as soon as the video released to a viewer, Josiah. Thank you for picking those up. He said he's been a subscriber for the channel for a long time, and when he saw these in the video, he wanted to grab them. I'm glad you did. I hope they serve you well. Thanks for picking that up. I don't get a lot of viewer sales. I get maybe once a year. Somebody leaves me a note and tells me that it's a viewer sale. So thanks for doing that. It's not necessary, but it is awful cool. This is a Lids Off by Black & Decker. You put a jar of spaghetti sauce in there and press the button and it takes the lid off. And then it sits on your shelf and it's cutesy. We paid $3.50 for the black one, and then we left the white one behind for $2.50, I think. And it sold for $30 free shipping. The sell-through rate was way lower on the white one. We already touched base on Anne Rice. I kind of spoiled those in the last video. We paid $1 a piece for these books. Listed them for $12 plus shipping, and they sold right away. But so the buyer's all in at $17. I'm in them for $5. So I'll make a little bit of money. I was afraid I wasn't gonna make any money because I shouldn't have paid that much for them, and they sold really quick, so that's good. I would rather something like that where there's not gonna be a lot of money. I would rather just market where it's gonna sell quick to kind of mitigate the loss. Like if I can get a quick sale, that's a plus. And if I'm not gonna make, I'd rather make $3 than wait 6 months to make $6 or $7, and then it's a slow moving item. We picked up The Doors box set, and it was $2, and I had a pretty good suspicion that it was all there. I didn't check it as thoroughly as I should, but then once I got it home, I did check it. Sold for $35.19 free shipping. So a long time ago, I went to a yard sale and I bought all kinds of things. Amongst those things, there were 2 fishing poles that break down. The other one sold right away. This one got ended and sold similar several times, and ended up selling for $18 plus shipping. Buyers all in at $28. I wouldn't have paid more than, I think, I want to say I paid $5 for it. I wouldn't have paid very much for it. This was one of the very first things I ever bought off of Whatnot, so it's been around for probably 3 years. Large on the old Fruit of the Loom tag, and then it says you can't touch this. I'm assuming that it's bootleg, not MC Hammer licensed, because there's nothing to indicate any kind of license on it, and that phrase isn't exclusive to, but obviously a vintage shirt that says that they're trying to gain a market off of MC Hammer. Anyway, that sold for $15 plus shipping. Buyers all in at $27. So that sold for $15. and probably there's some sales tax in there, but it was probably $10 shipping on that. This I picked up. The Goodwill by me had a bunch of this kind of stuff. Wisconsin Badgers, new with tags, different shirts. Antigua is almost never worth picking up, but these were marked $8.88 at Goodwill, and they lasted until half price, so I got it for $4.44. And eventually, and I sold through the bulk of the things that I found, and eventually this one did sell also for $14.99 plus shipping. Okay, so I just sat here and did the math because I was curious. I was going to say I have nothing into these plates at this point. I paid $30 for a laundry basket full of license plates, old license plates. And there were 44 that were pairs, and then there were 16 that didn't have pairs at all. And some of those were good ones, but most of them were real crap, like these that aren't anything special license plates that are unmatched and bent and stuff. But so that's 109. If I paid 30, that's just short of 29 cents a piece. And this lot of 5, that at 30 cents a piece, or 29, 30 cents a piece, I'm a little less than $1.50 into these. They sold for $7 plus shipping. And so I'll probably end up with probably $7 in my pocket, to be honest with you. Maybe $6. But the license plates are going to take a long time to sell through, but they're going to sell through, and I'm going to make a little bit of money every single time. I find, buy, and sell a whole lot of Caterpillar hats. That brown spot mostly came off. Just a generic cat patch hat, probably made in the US, made in Taiwan, with the double snap. Nothing special, just an old Caterpillar hat. We find them all the time. I normally don't pay more than $2 for them. That one sold for $13.64, free shipping, and it says I have two. It says I have one more available just like that. How about Guitar Heroes? We went to a yard sale the other day. I don't know if you'll ever see the footage. I did make a video, but I think that I deleted it on accident. But I know I took a picture. All of these DVDs, all of the Freddy DVDs, all of the Jason DVDs, a couple of Halloweens, and Guitar Hero games. These sold to different people, yes? Yeah. So Guitar Hero World Tour for the 360, Guitar Hero 2 for the 360, Guitar Hero Legends of Rock 3, and Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. Now you just see these four, and you're like, oh, they're probably worth $10 a piece. That's what I was thinking. And so I lotted these 3 together for $29 because that's easier than trying to sell each one for $8.99 plus shipping and sitting on them forever. $30 when I'm in it for 3. Free shipping. That's a pretty good deal for somebody, but it's not giving them away. This one is a banger. This one is a rarer. And this, I mean, the cover is water damaged. Like you can see that it's kind of ripply. And it doesn't have the manual. So it would be it'd be like a $30 to $35 thing if it was in a really nice shape with the manual. But I listed it for $29 and it sold in a day or two. So I haven't even sold the movies yet, but these video games that were kind of an afterthought, and I grabbed them all assuming they were all the same. I'm like, they're probably $10 a piece, and maybe I'll lot them up, maybe I won't. But this one did significantly better than I expected it to. So I know that one's really good, and I know that Metallica for the Wii, either Rock Band or Guitar Hero, I don't remember which genre it is, but of games, it's weird. I am not of the ilk to want to play those kind of games, When I was a younger man, I played the dance. It wasn't Dance Dance Revolution. It was Pump It Up GTX. Because Dance Dance Revolution, if you think about 9 spots, Dance Dance Revolution is 4 spots, and Pump It Up GTX is the 5 other ones. And anyway, I was super good at that. I was the guy that would like play both sides and like draw a crowd, and it was a whole thing. I wish there was video, because it's hard. It's hard for me to believe that story, but I lived it. It was a real thing. That was kind of crazy. Anyhow, so like this is in that ilk, only you play it with your fingers, and I can't imagine playing those and it being fun. But some of the guitars do really well, some of them don't. Some of the games do really well, some of them don't. But they're all worth a little bit of something. So if you're finding Guitar Hero guitars, if you're finding the ones that the necks come apart, are way better to deal with. The ones that are all one piece, they can be really expensive and cumbersome to ship. So they would have to be worth more unless the neck comes off. But just when you find Guitar Hero and Rock Band stuff, comp it, because if it's reasonably priced, you can make some pretty good money. A lot of people don't realize that has retained value fairly well. I have found these 2 or 3 times in the last 2 or 3 years. They are cassette tape storage, but they're called Add and Stack, and they're neat. I never pay much for them, but like these 2 pieces come apart, and so you can imagine they're what would be called modular. You know, you can stack as many on them as you want, but what I think is really cool is they also go this way. Like, you can go that way. You can do like off-center stacks. Like, they're neat. They're a really cool thing if you want to design something for cassette storage. They come in lots of colors. I don't imagine that chocolate brown is the most desirable color, but we paid 50 cents for the pair. They were 50 cents a piece on half-day press at an estate sale. Sold for $19, free shipping. That yard sale was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So they haven't been sitting around forever. I'm not going to go get this dumb thing. Sold for $80.50, and here's a picture of it. It is an amplifier that you would slide into a rack for like gigging a band. Like, you would have a rack full of amps for different things, for sound systems and that kind of thing. This is one of those. I'm not at all familiar with it, but when I'm not even familiar with the label SAE 2A7 is the name brand of it, which is weird. Integrated amplifier. I do not have the capability of testing this. The tested ones sold for like, there was one that was sold for like $250, and then there were tested ones that were listed for like $600. Well, I found this for $25, and I'm like, at $25, there's almost no chance I don't make money. So I just brought it home, took good pictures of it. I plugged it in. I showed that it powered on, and I took the lid off, which is like 5 or 6 screws. You don't need to be intimidated taking the screws off. Just make sure if you take the wrong screws off, you just put them back on. But anyway, and I took some pictures of the inside so people could see if there was look at it close and see if there was a blown capacitor, or if there was, it's clean on the inside, that kind of thing. And anyway, 3 or 4 weeks, it sold for $80. And I had it listed significantly higher, but I wasn't getting any interest. And I'm selling it untested because, and I think I may have even listed it as parts not working, which tends to be my MO on things like this. Like, I think most people are reasonable humans. And so if you list it untested and put that you didn't, like I put in the description, this powers on and is in nice physical condition, but I do not have the equipment to test it properly. So I think most buyers are going to be the kind of people who'd be like, well, I'm going to return it because it didn't work if you list it as used. But this is sold, it does say, for parts not working, powers on untested in the description and the title. And so, like, I know that there's a lot more margin in this thing if I wanted to hold on to it for a year and have it properly vetted, but I would rather spend 25, make 40 after we're all said and done, and somebody else figure it out. And then I'm not trying to sell it for $290 plus shipping, and then the buyer gets it and there's some kind of technical issue and I either get the return or I have to try to help them troubleshoot it. Or I've even had people say, oh, this thing didn't work, but I went and had it serviced and here's the $80 bill. Now, you don't have to do anything with that, and I didn't. I said I didn't agree to service it, and now it's not as it was. You just admitted that you can't return it in the condition that it was sent to you in, so you're out of luck. But there's still that dealing with that crap. So I prefer to sell large, expensive equipment like this that I'm not at all familiar with, as is parts not working, and I only buy it when there's enough margin to sell it that way, because I'm not an expert on this stuff, and I'm not going to pretend to be. And I feel like you should be an expert on that stuff in order to sell it properly. I bought a guy's entire store out, and some of the stuff that he had was like auction stuff. And so this thing says only at auction. It's a brooch. And then there's another brooch in here that is also a hammer. Oh, and I have this thing taped up so I can't get them apart, so I can show you. So there's the only at auction is, the only at auction is on this thing that says genuine crystal, but I didn't include that in the picture. And then there's a hammer, and I've got them kind of stuck together, the one brooch going through the hole on the other one. So you get the hammer, the gavel, and the only at auction brooch. That was, so I paid $1 probably for those things. Wouldn't be something I would normally pick up. Sold for $10.79 plus shipping. This is the kind of thing I love to find, and I don't remember where I found it. Probably the bathroom of an estate sale. Vintage Zest. You're never fully clean unless you're zestfully clean. Zest bar soap. And I have been to Ollie's Bargain Warehouse and bought soap and made money, bar soap, and made money on bar soap. And it always sold international too. It sold to people in Canada. So maybe bar soap isn't available there anymore, but I wouldn't have paid much for this. Sold for $19 free shipping. So, I mean, I'll put this in a box. It ain't gonna get damaged. It smells fantastic still. I wonder if it has a date on it. Okay, so there doesn't appear to be a date, but there is a customer service phone number, and there is not any mention of a website. So it's not new. It's probably from the 90s or maybe even the late 80s. So if you find that old soap, those old kind of personal care products, that isn't going to go bad. So, like, you wouldn't want to do some stuff because it might go bad. Soap isn't going to go bad. And so that can be 30-year-old soap, and somebody bought it from me. I probably paid $1, and somebody paid me $20. Again, Peoria, Illinois, world headquarters for Caterpillar. So Caterpillar means a lot to a lot of people around here. North Scott makes a lot of these little models, and you find them with some frequency, and they tend to have some value. I bought 2 of these, and one of them was $7 and one of them was $3. I don't even remember what the other one was. It sold right away, and this one took a long time to sell. But I'm not more than $7 into it. I suspect this was the smaller one, and it had I'm $3 into it. But it sold for $21 free shipping. I've had it a long, long time, probably a year and a half. But eventually it did sell. So remember on the last video, which for me was this morning and for you was yesterday or the day before, I said iconic, like this McDonald's hat didn't do super well. Iconic, better hats do better. This is an iconic looking Domino's hat. It is a gross mess. And I bought it kind of new. So this is all my own personal grossness on here. I think I paid $20 plus shipping for it, and I sold it for $20, $21 free shipping, for a lot less, in a lot less good condition than I bought it. Let me put up here that the reason that this hat, the way that I sold this hat is different than the way a lot of people, like, it's an old Domino's uniform, and I included that in the title, but I also put up Miscellaneous, who is both the actor who wore it and the actor who wore the Michelangelo costume. And so he, and this is the same design of hat that he would have been wearing as the pizza delivery guy who's got 30 seconds. So I chose to do it, to sell it as that, because I think there's the reason that I thought it was cool was because of that. So I'm figuring I'm probably not alone. And there's enough keywords that I can put vintage Domino's uniform. And if somebody's looking for that, great. If they want some Ninja Turtle stuff, great. Paid not very many dollars for this. I paid $30 for three Super Nintendo video games off a buddy of mine. This one was the least valuable. I think I paid $15 for Zelda and $5 for this, and then $10 for Mario. And then this one is not the high-end one of the group. The Zelda one already sold. The Mario one's still listed. This sold for $13.21, so it must have been on a cent an offer. Free shipping. This is a box full of random stuff. Random small parts of Ninja Turtles and stuff. And we bought the retro truckload sale, and me and Levi went through so much of that stuff and identified so much of that stuff and made so much money off all that stuff. And this was kind of what's left that we either hadn't identified or it wasn't really worth much to list. Some of it I could identify. But anyway, I listed it for $25. I might try to ship it in that box, but I might not, depending on how much it's going to add to the shipping cost. Because then nothing's getting damaged if I ship it in that box. I could probably just put a poly mailer on that box, and then, yeah, that's probably what we'll do. $25 free shipping. We're well into the profit, and that was just kind of sitting in the death pile, and I kept looking at it thinking, oh, I should deal with that. I should go through all of that stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to list the whole box for somebody else to deal with it, like Commonwealth Kevin's kind of Shop Commons kind of thing. So like 2 weeks ago, I went to a yard sale, and I thought I kind of overpaid for some shoes. I got a pair of Vapor Max, a pair of New Balance, these Birkenstocks that just sold, and then I got a pair of dress shoes that I overpaid for. I haven't even listed yet because I don't think they're any good. But the 3 pairs sold already. These sold for $38 plus shipping. Birkenstocks do well. They don't have to be in perfect condition. These have some heel drag. They've got some wear. They've got some like heel squishing in the cork, but they're in pretty good shape. And so Birkenstocks sell really well most of the time. Men's tend to do a little better than women's because women can wear those, but they are marketed as men's. So like the fancy, skinnier, strappy ones don't do as well for me, or maybe I just don't have an audience for women's shoes. It's also possible. But Birkenstocks do super well. And there's also a Berkey brand that does really well by Birkenstock. These are Mountain Prairie, and they're like this old style of camouflage pants, and they have been around just forever. The picture on here was taken not even at this house that we've lived in for 2.5 years. And I know they were sitting around for a while there. I thought they were going to do super duper well. Camo stuff was doing really well. They did eventually sell for $13 plus shipping, Buyers all in at 25. So when I do plus shipping and then I see that this person paid as much for shipping, and this is the second time it's happened to this video, and it happened one time in the last video, where the item I'm selling for $13 ends up with $13 extra cost on the top of it, that's when I tend to think that it is better to do a $24.99 free shipping. And then I can negotiate if somebody wants to get it a little cheaper than that, but I can control the cost better than the post office deciding that it's going to cost this person $25. It's going to cost this person probably $10 or $11 to ship, but it's only going to cost me $8. I think that's everything. I think we pulled and talked about all of the things. So, well, I didn't pull the amplifier. I still got to do that. But that's everything that's got to go out. A couple of things that were still on this list that we did yesterday, but that's 24 items for $710. So it's the next morning, and I've got 4 more sales, and I'm just going to try and get them to go out this morning with everything else. And what's weird is, you remember that hat that we sold last night? This one has been listed probably the same 6 weeks or so that the other one was, and they've sold back-to-back days to different people. So that's weird. And then we sold this Motley Crue record with the special insert. The first issue has this merch thing in it, and so that this is here means this is a first issue, and it still has all the stuff that it came with, and so that makes it specialer. And down here we have some Minnesota license plates. There was only, and the Minnesota ones are yellow and thicker than here. And these are thicker metal and in really nice shape, and they sold for $20. And the last thing is this Carhartt jacket, just real general Carhartt jacket. Sold, we got this with all those Cardinals and Cubs jackets. Hi Mavis. And it sold for $80 plus shipping, probably free shipping. So that's pretty good. We're getting things moving. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks for following and clicking the bell. We'll see you on the next one.